This is about to be a very controversial opinion, and I'm a bit wound up, so I feel like we should talk about it. And I don't know if I'm going to get absolute shtick for this and everyone's going to hate me, but I just feel like this is a conversation that is written to me and spoken about and blah, 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 blah. I am an American and I live in the UK and I am an athlete. I have lived here for the last, God knows what, 5 years. And I am married to a British person and I absolutely, absolutely love the UK. I think it's amazing. But I also love America. And so today I was having a conversation and it is really kind of wound me up about the healthcare systems here in the UK. And this is not to shit on the NHS. This is not to be like, oh, the NHS is horrible, this, that, and the other. I don't have anything bad to say about it, but I do have some concerns. Basically, I get a lot of messages of people saying, you know, America is the worst. How could you live in America with the healthcare system, et cetera, et cetera. I think that the common misconception is that we just like leave people to... I've just had this conversation and it's kind of really wound me up because I feel like in the UK, you guys have the option to pay for private healthcare. Is that not exactly the same as what we have in America, which is, you know, you pay for your healthcare, which is health insurance and yeah. And every single system is flawed. I am not beyond the fact of knowing that every single system is flawed. To have to pay for health insurance in general is really hard, but also not having to pay for health insurance and not getting the right service is also hard. And I am not shitting on the NHS. I think the NHS is amazing, but I am sticking up a little bit for Americans because I find so many people tell me that they would never move to America because, oh my God, the healthcare system. That seems to be the one reason that you guys don't want to move to America, which I can't really wrap my head around because you guys have private healthcare and the majority of people use private healthcare. Oh yes, the NHS is understaffed and people talk about that a lot, how it's understaffed and underfunded. Nothing to do with the doctors. The doctors are amazing. However, there's just not enough of them, apparently. And in the US, being a doctor is this coveted job. You know, you go to med school, you go into hundreds of thousands of dollars of debt, and then you come out a multimillionaire. A lot of people go into healthcare for the wrong reasons because they know they can make a ton of money off of it in America. So I don't really find that's the case most of the time. I think most people go into healthcare because they are selfless and they want to, you know, save lives and take care of people. Like, it's a very thankless and selfless job, I'm sure, being a doctor. And I think that every single doctor should be paid millions on millions on millions. Being a doctor is the most important job on the planet. But I keep getting asked this and I keep getting told this in my DMs. I would never move to America because if I move to America, you can't afford healthcare and they'll just leave you. And that's just not the case. So this is a controversial opinion and I want to know your opinion on this as well. Would British people seriously not move to America because of the healthcare? Or is that just mainstream media that has ruined it for all of us? Because these common misconceptions about how we would just leave people is just not true. That's just not the case. Essentially, America just has private healthcare, which is what a ton of UK people pay for anyways. So many UK people pay for private healthcare because they can't get in line with the NHS in time. Again, I am not shitting on the NHS. I just had a nephew born through the NHS. My cousin has had an amazing experience with the NHS. My experience hasn't been that great, but that's just my experience. And I've seen so many people have amazing, incredible experiences with the NHS. This is not to say that anything is wrong with it. I really want to know, would you guys seriously not move to America because you're worried about the healthcare system? Because that seems to be a big thing that people keep saying to me over and over again. And there's an upcoming election. And I just think it's really hilarious that the mainstream media has convinced us that if you're British, you should never ever look into moving to America because the healthcare system is flawed. Doesn't it kind of feel like the pot's calling the kettle black?